Alright, to even start this story, we need to go back. Not to a game release, a press conference, it's not a sit-down session, but back to November 22nd, 2013. The Xbox One is released, and 12-year-old me is excited. Christmas break is in 2 weeks, the holiday in 3. My brother and I have been asking for an Xbox and Halo 4 for weeks on end. We were excited, and with a new console and backwards compatibility, oh baby, we were ready. Christmas morning comes around, we open the biggest box last, and inside, a set for an Xbox 360. Cheaper price for certain. Was I disappointed? At the time, probably. But I didn't care, because this was a coordinated effort by my entire family. My grandparents got us 2 digital codes for Batman Arkham City and Tomb Raider. Oh, fuck, we still have that last one. Huh. My uncle got us Call of Duty 2, not like modern day Call of Duty, like OG World War II boots in the ground 2004, God. And the console came packed with 2 games as well. Halo 4, which my brother and I were dying to play, and what I thought was some Dark Souls ripoff. Darksiders 2? What is this Souls piece of shit ripoff? If only I knew. I was holding my favorite game of all time right then and there. Christmas concludes, and we get home and we set up the Xbox. As Christmas break winds down, I decided to try out the other game rather than Halo 4 today. This is Darksiders 2 thing. I play it, and I found it confusing. I thought it was stupid, way too serious, and had too much history that I didn't know about. That after the first dungeon and onto the second, I just gave up. Didn't want to play the game that I had no interest in. Look, the most puzzle-heavy game I played up until that point were the Lego games. I wasn't used to this. And like those games, I didn't bother to look up a guide. I didn't know guides existed on the internet, because my family just started getting internet around this time. So I stopped, and I just gave up on the series. That is, until 1 year later, in January of 2015. Now, 2015 was a big year for me personally. Final year of middle school. I was turning 14, so I could be a full-on teenager. I would start high school later that year. I got my longtime crush to go to homecoming with me. I kind of regret doing that. Happy nothing turned out. I was a stupid child. And on June 2015, I had 24 hours of gaming. Probably the best I had. I got back into Destiny 1 in that time period. I got nearly all the achievements in a single day. I beat Lego Batman Arkham City within that same 24-hour period too. You know, that's a video for later. But for the sake of this one, in January 2015, I see this video right here. Darksiders 2. I have this game. And like Doom, I was amazed. See how powerful you can get in this game. Wow! Plus, I grew as a gamer. I slowly lost interest in shooters and got to try out and experience different games with the rise of Let's Players and reviewers. Specifically Clement and some call me Johnny. Two men that I still watch actively and have influenced me so much on my love of Sonic, RPGs, and just how video games can tell stories. So I decided I was going to finish Darksiders 2 in February 2015. And I did. And I fell in love. I don't know whether it was the year I had to pay better attention to stories, the fact that I was so bored in school I would do anything to look for something, but it all just clicked. And unlike that stupid middle school, early high school fling with this blonde, that love was not crushed before my very eyes on the dance floor of homecoming. Rather, the battlefield of the Crucible became the dance floor for Darksiders and I. And it was flawless. I would finish the game by the end of the month. I would look up a few guides after an hour at certain puzzles and, continue to do all of that type of stuff. I clearly didn't go in like my Lego days and just would brute force a puzzle until I eventually figured it out. But at the end of the day, I felt accomplished. I felt like I did it. And then I did again and again, and soon enough I gave it all for 100% files, several playthroughs throughout 2015. Now, Darksiders 2 is a yearly tradition of mine to be played through. It is a perfect story, perfect gameplay, and a perfect world. It's just flawless to me. To this day, the Crow Father is a fantastic opening boss. The City of the Dead, a massive, expansive, will-dripping with puzzles, both hard and super simple. The Guardian, a perfect climactic boss in Samael. Oh yes, Samael. Yes, the Deadlord is the lowest part of the game, and they really drag out, but I don't care. But after so many playthroughs, the question had to be posed. What's next? Well, I was 14 at the time, and I didn't have any money, so I would just look up Darksiders 1 and lore of the game. At the time around 2015, 2016, the internet began to play a much larger role in my life. I got my first phone, my school issued us laptops, so I had full access to YouTube and internet solely by myself for the first time. So I continued to educate myself on Darksiders, and sadly I learned about the tragic fate of THQ. I can't quite remember the video, but I vaguely remember something called like, The Future of Darksiders or some other THQ properties. When I heard Darksiders was auctioned off to a studio that never made games, I was heartbroken. I truly thought the franchise was dead, for only a few moments. Yeah, I wasn't terribly emotionally invested in Darksiders updates, as I am about, say, Halo or Destiny. That isn't because I didn't like the games, I mean, come on, look at the title of this video. It's mostly because, well, I thought the series had its best in two, so I could just hold on to that. Anyway, times moves forward. We would get that Xbox One eventually. I would continue to play the games I loved, tried a few others, and gave up. So forth and so on. Then one day, in late 2017, I see a video. The Darksiders 3 trailer. And I freak out.
Hello, brother.
Holy hell, it lives. With Falling Fury, we get to see her gameplay. Holy crap, THQNordic! The hell is this? Same design personnel as Darksiders 1? Holy hell, yes! Once again, I found my love for the game. And I mean, really this time. The lead up to Darksiders 3 is a time that reminds me of how I am now with Halo Infinite. I read the Darksiders novel, I get re-involved in the series, read the 2 small comics from Darksiders 2, and I was back in love with these games. And just like Darksiders 2 4 years prior, Christmas of 2018, and I get Darksiders 3. I was so excited. The game for me. I only recently looked back into Destiny with some Forsaken, met some members of my now online friend group, and I was so happy. We got home a few days later, I played it with my best friend, and didn't really like it. I felt Fury was too annoying and high-strung for our protagonist. And while she does mellow out by the end of the game, it still really didn't buy it for me. I thought the upgrade system was alright, but nothing amazing like 2. The gameplay... that was the part that broke me. I thought Fury was a constant glass cannon, unable to take any hit no matter how many souls I sunk into that health stat. The hollows were useful, but really only the flame hollow when in combat. The bosses all felt the same to me and were so annoying. I remember raging on and on just about all of them, especially the final boss. Hell, doing the final boss attempt took me 37 tries in 2 hours. My brother nearly turned off our console because I was raging so much. I sadly told my mother that Darksiders 3 is a game I would more than likely never play again. And for 2 years? Yeah, that was true. When I went back to play Darksiders 2 again, I would just push 3 to the side. It felt wrong, like Darksiders had truly become that Dark Souls ripoff I mistakenly thought it was back in the day. I got sad, but I also had hope. Darksiders could come back for a 3rd game, then, well, what about the next one? What else could happen to this franchise? I sadly missed both launches of the DLC for Darksiders 3. I still plan to play them at some day. When that day is, I really can't say. But I know it will be soon. But like Darksiders 3, I wouldn't have to wait that long for the next game. In June 2019, Darksiders Genesis was revealed. Finally, Strife, and the prequel? Alright, that's cool. Oh, and War. I mean, I guess that makes sense in the top-down shooter. Okay. I had a bad feeling. It's not like roguelike games are bad. Look at Hades, for example, or Diablo, which
do you guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys
clearly was the inspiration for this game, but that didn't shake my feelings. It felt weird, seeing a dungeon crawler not have any proper puzzle dungeons for 2 games in a row. The game comes out on Stadia, sheesh, remember that, and PC first. I hear alright things about them, and then console drop comes. 4 months later, in February of 2020. What? I lost interest in the game after that. I just couldn't care about it anymore. I didn't even bother to follow the series afterwards. It wasn't that I fell out of love with this series, I still adore Darksiders 2, but then I just have to ask, was Darksiders 2 too good? Was it the way that established a false sense of greatness to me? Maybe. I tried to find a way to give it the standard of 2 once again, and sadly I haven't felt that. But then Christmas of 2020 came. Unlike most years, we didn't go to my home state of Ohio for, I don't know, obvious reasons. So this was the first time we celebrated Christmas in our home in about 13 years. It was weird to say the least, but it was also nice. I got the microphone you see here, which I have been used for all my essays since, and 2 games, Darksiders Genesis and Darksiders War Mastered Edition. Holy hell, I had them all 4 games, all the DLC, the books, the comics, I had everything Darksiders related. And at that point, I was well into streaming over on Twitch, so I decided to show these games off my first reactions to them. So 3 months went by and I finally started to play Darksiders 1. And it was okay. Let me explain. I was always told the story of 1 was better while the gameplay of 2 was better, but I couldn't see that. But I mean, the core 7 characters are a lot of fun, the gameplay is really rock solid, and the world actually has a proper map this time. Unlike 2, I just didn't find it to be beyond incredible. I didn't fall in love with it instantly. I'm sure that with more time with the game, I will be able to enjoy it properly. I'm just unsure of it right now. That being said, I loved what I played. And I know that I only finished the story. I still have no idea about any side quests, upgrades, Crucible. I know you were out there, Wicked K. So I think this game is a game I will be returning to soon enough. Then that takes us to Genesis. And again, I like Genesis. I think it is my 3rd favorite Darksiders game. I know that sounds bad, but hear me out. As I said back in my initial playthrough of the game over on Twitch, I felt like Darksiders entered a Sonic phase, where THQNordic is trying to experiment with the series to see how it can be played out. If this was like game 1 or 2, I wouldn't mind. And the reason why I harp on this and not say, for example, Halo Wars, is because this game was meant to introduce Strife proper and give us a character arc. In Wars, the story didn't fuck with the Chief. I don't know, it just feels different to me. The story of the game was alright, saved by the complexity of Strife and the acting on all sides. Dees was an utterly useless character, and then again, so was Draven. Music was arguably the best part of the game. This game and 2 remain to be my favorite soundtracks of the whole series. And Genesis did a lovely job to make me fall in love with Strife. I just wish the game was a good gap between 3 and 1, to show how Strife lost his guns, to understand what he was doing there. This series has left me confused and satisfied on all accounts possible. I'm thrilled to be a part of this franchise and to go ahead and play these games. I'm so happy I can play this more grown-up, middle school, edgy type Legend of Zelda with such a wide-reaching array of characters and locations. But I can also not help but feel the games have also let me down. I think Darksiders 3 and Genesis are the weakest games in the series. They're not awful, mind you, but they just couldn't click with me like 2 could. And I'm not really sure where else to go. The general consensus among the fanbase was once we got the game centered on each horseman, we would go to a true sequel to 1. And I think that still holds true. My idea for it would be to give rise to us all 4 horsemen as playable characters, maybe break into chapters, I'm not sure, SA2 this bitch maybe, I don't know. But where I truly stand in this series and its future. I think this series, like all, have potential. My problem is, I don't think THQNordic or Gunfire Games have realized that potential. Especially because Darksiders 3 needed to sell copies to even make Genesis. And seeing how that ended up, I'm not sure the future of Darksiders is even secured anymore. It scares me. I want this franchise to spread out and grow. I want this story to continue. I think it can be an amazing story. That is what matters to me most. Well, gameplay, but yeah, whatever. Do I want Darksiders to return to the dungeon crawler hack and slash days? Yes, because I think that is the core of Darksiders, mixed in with the demonic aesthetic. I hope with all my heart there's another game in this franchise. And I hope it reaches the height of 2. Realistically, time will tell, but I'm still holding hope when the Darksiders comes out on top of all the potential fully realized. I love this franchise. I love Darksiders 2. It's what got me back into video games, got me into hardcore grinding, made me love lore and story, and let me indulge in RPGs for the first time. Ever, really. So what does Darksiders mean to me? It means a lot. So, to that massive game I thought was a Dark Souls ripoff on my Xbox 360, I say thank you for giving me everything. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed standard YouTube stuff, like, comment, give me a boost in the algorithm, because, oh boy, tell you what, as someone who's obsessed with numbers, it does not feel good sometimes. Oh, I need some help. But that being said though, thank you so much, and I hope Darksiders means a lot to at least someone out there watching, like it does to me. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.